afternoon. Welcome to Our World, Our Power. Another week with Lady Paul and my co-host, Mr. Glenn Greenwich, the Honorable Mayor of Sutton Boulevard. How are you today, Wayne?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, that's
I'm d-
good.
Call me Wayne though.
Did I say Wayne? Oh, shoot.
I'm the other guy.
So-
That's okay. That's okay. Well, I want to introduce you to an exciting guest that we have today, Mr. Drew Kerr. He's doing a great project around Queens. He is going around and identifying certain chefs, different areas, and he's doing bios on them and doing bios on the restaurants themselves, and sometimes their owners too. So, without any further ado, welcome to the show, Drew.
Glad to be here. Nice to see you.
Likewise. So, tell us a little bit about the project.
Queen Chef Project was something that I thought about over the winter, seeing how the pandemic really hit the whole food industry so hard. Right. And having spoken with many people in the food industry during the worst of it and wondering if they were going to survive. So I had thought of, let's do something to artistically honor them. And so I thought of this concept of picking 50 chefs, 50 chefs throughout Queens, being as representative as possible, male, female, race, ethnicity, everything. But not to focus on their food, to focus on an item in their kitchen or their restaurant that holds great meaning to them.
Okay.
Because everybody's done food. Food, we've all loved that. But I'm here for deeper meaning. I'm here for the story. What have you had? What have you been given, or what have you found, or something that you keep around you that holds a lot of meaning to you?
And what do most of the chefs say?
Well, they're all different. They're all different. So I will say that the very common thing when I explain this project to people, they always say, "Oh, knife and a fork," and actually only one person has picked a knife. The most common item, and three of the chefs picked them, as a mortar and pestle, something that was handed down or they brought from where they were born, or given, something that was brought over from grandparents to parents. So the mortar and pestle has actually been, of the chefs, and I've shot about 30 chefs so far, three of them have brought, and all from different countries, but yet the same function of a mortar and pestle. They've ranged from skewers that look like they could have come out of some, kung fu movie, to a hat that a woman who owns this Italian restaurant, that a bookie gave her. Actually, it was a bookie's daughter. The bookie passed away. Her daughter, he willed it to this woman who runs this restaurant.
Wow.
It's a great story because she went into, it's a hat, it's an old felt hat, and there's an old guy who would pass by every day and see her, and, how are you? And she was always very nice and polite. And when he passed away, his daughter came by some few months later and said, he wanted you to have this hat. And so she took the hat, took it to the restaurant. She keeps it in the restaurant. She also found a flap inside the hat, and found a whole lot of money in the lining of the hat.
Did she have a coat? Maybe it was somebody someplace else.
So, you find these things that people, that stay with them for a very long time and have a great meaning to them. And sometimes I show up at a place and they say, they'll tell me, well, this is what my object is. And while I'm there, I actually find something that's better. While I'm there, I'll see something, oh, what's that? And
so do you focus on the food?
No.
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 No?
This is about the story.
Oh, this is just about the story.
This is really about, I will shoot some behind the scenes footage that I like to put on social media. But when this project comes out, and really the the spirit of it is about the object, the story, and the joy and the happiness in what they do. And the photographs sometimes reflect them having fun or having fun with the object. It's not always serious.
Well, you have one where the guy's like doing an air guitar.
I'm convinced that's going to. Yes, I knew that was going to be an iconic photograph. That is a pizzeria in Sunnyside called Philomena's.
Okay.
And he just had this, and that's not even his object. That's the funny thing, is as he was doing that, and I said, do this with it. And I said, no, just jumping down like you're some crazy rock and roll guitarist. And he was like, nobody's ever told him to do that before, obviously. And he did. Right. And I got him in midair, doing a real.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But his object actually was, and this is just to show the spirit, and because that photograph was perfect. His object was an 80-year-old rolling pin made at a tool and die factory that was handed down through generations to him.
Okay.
And so while I have him, every photograph, every session has them holding the object. That's a very important thing. It's a sort of a special centerpiece photograph. I did have him pose as a baseball player holding it as a bat in the middle of his restaurant.
Okay.
So we have fun.
Now you pick the chefs, but you also sometimes the owners are participating in the photo shoot as well.
If it's them, sometimes it depends on who I'm in contact with, and sometimes they kind of hand it over to their chef, and that happened. That's happened a few times, like with Uncle Peter's in Jackson Heights. But very much, I would say almost all the time, the owner and the chef are one and the same. And they are the one and the same person. So those are the people who I've been.
So how long have you been?
So this has been going on since February. I started shooting once a week to kind of get my feet wet. Now I do 2 to 3 a week. Showing up at the restaurant, having a lot of fun, causing a little bit of havoc, doing interviews because I want to get their story. So tell me what this object is. Tell me why is it so meaningful to you? Mm-hmm. And they tell me.
Oh, okay, I see. Now I also realize you work with the Queens Economical Development.
The Queens. I have two main supporters for this project. When I was thinking about, when I came up with this idea, I wanted to share it with people who I thought would get behind it and also help me reach out to different communities. Queens Economic Development Corp., Rob Mackay, Seth Bornstein, I reached out to them and they were great, especially because they know so many communities and development corps and folks like that. And so we speak regularly, and they're actually also going to play an important role in the second half when the photographing and the interviewing is done, which should be by the end of July.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Rob very well. He invites me to his festivals when he has with the different restaurants.
Yes, you don't want to turn those down.
No, that's free food and very good.
But I also want to mention the other supporter, and that's Queens Together.
Okay. And
Queens Together is run by a longtime chef by the name of Jonathan Forgash, who actually used to be at the Kaufman Astoria Studios, used to actually provide the catering to all the videos that were shot there and sometimes TV shows. He went on his own. So he runs it. It is one of the biggest grassroots groups in New York City to help the food insecure, but specifically for the borough of Queens. And he's launched it literally when the pandemic started. He's made record-setting, some of the biggest food deliveries in this borough. And so he's been a very instrumental part of this as well.
Oh, okay. All right. I just would like to take the time to say you're listening to WGJSradio.com, Inner City Soul, uh, where your news reflects you and your community. We're on a new platform starting last week, so I wanted to announce to the audience that you can catch us on WGJSradio.com 24/7. And don't forget also to follow us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and see us on our Roku channel, Our World Media Network. And don't forget our YouTube.
And Apple TV. And when you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like us.
That's right. Very important. Let's continue with this conversation, Glenn.
So Drew, I know that that's not your only project. So your main project right now is the Queen's Chef project, but you're working on some other projects as well, right?
Well, I would say that's that's really kind of I got to be honest with you, that's kind of taken up a major part of my time this year. I mean, I have a communications consultancy for a very long time and a storytelling consultancy, which is why the storytelling aspect of this project is so important.
Sure.
About these objects, these things that we look around and you find out where they found them. But that's important to me, but it's an amazing amount of time to organize. I have to be honest with you, the Queen Chef Project it's a passion project. It's all out of my pocket. It's probably the biggest thing I've ever done.
That's one of the questions I was going to ask you is about your funding. Do you have any funding, or is it coming out of your pocket?
No, everything it's something, when it's a passion project, you want to do it. You're not thinking about, well, who am I going to write a letter to ask for funding or anything like that. It's sort of, okay, this is not an expensive thing. As a matter of fact, I have a photographic mentor on this project. Is a friend of mine who's an architectural photographer. And when I had told him about this, of course, we were Zooming about it, and I explained it to him. And I said, well, I'm going to show up with my Canon camera and my lights, and we'll do that. And he said to me, what kind of phone do you have? And I said, I have the new iPhone 12. And he goes, that's all you need. He goes, it does everything but wash your car. Just do that. And so everything has been shot on an iPhone 12, but with a mission in mind. Understanding with getting that joy and getting that feeling and having fun with these chefs who need it. That's just a really important thing, is to show that they're happy, that they've made it, they're here, they've made it through.
Tell me, do you want to elaborate in the future with the chefs, like feature more about the restaurants and the food and so forth?
Well, there's a lot of work ahead on this project besides the photography and the interviews, because right now there's there's a sort of a placeholder, I call it a preview website, that has one photograph each of the chefs that people can see at queenschefproject.com, and it also explains what the project is about. But when everything is over, and right now we've shot almost, like I said, about 28, 29 chefs, about 9,000 photographs have been shot. Okay?
Wow.
A lot.
Yeah.
It's been a lot. So.
And you did all this?
All of it. All of it. It's been, I could be a tour guide of Queens. When this is done, I could run a tour service. I know the subway. I can tell you where everything is. And especially because we're trying to reach every corner of Queens. It's very important. I want this to be as representative with getting as many communities, ethnically, also making sure that we have plenty of women chefs and women owners involved. It's one thing that I've gone out of my way when I say to folks, and Glenn, you know this, and I say, if you know chefs in your community, please, get me at least two, but like at least one woman, and we're going to I'm going to say a third, maybe more of the chefs are going to be women when it's all said and done.
Have you come over this way to Jamaica, Queens?
I actually have. I went to the very first person I photographed, actually, right near here. I went to the nurse spot.
Oh, Dawn. Oh, my God.
Dawn Kelly.
Dawn Kelly.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
So I'll be going nearby. I'm going to go to the Nest at the end of the month in South Richmond Hill. And the Real Veggie Cafe, which I think just recently opened here too. I want to think is in this neighborhood also, reached out to me. And I think they're aboard. But what's important, what's really important also is when it's all said and done, is what will happen in the second half of the year. Part 2, and that is the website will open up as an online gallery for all 50 chefs. It will be, each one will have, I'm estimating about 3 photographs, 3, maybe 4 photographs each. But one of those photographs will be a centerpiece photograph of them holding the object literally close up in their hands to get an intimate feeling of it. And then I would like to take audio clips of them telling the story of the object. And I would like to make that as part of each of their, like sort of their sections. So people can hear. I might do some text with that. I really want to make it a gallery like that. I want to have an opening, and the Queens Economic folks and myself, we've talked about a few places about having an opening event with the chefs attending. As a matter of fact, my goal is to do my version of A Great Day for Jazz photograph. I want to do that.
With the chefs.
I want to do that with the chefs.
Oh, wow.
I want to do that with the chefs, and because to get all of them in one place, these amazing, and we're talking about chefs from Michelin bib star, chefs to mom and pop places. I mean, we've covered the gamut.
Well, there's one restaurant that you didn't mention. That was The Door.
The Door.
Yes, you got to check. Well, we have to go to commercial break, and we'll be right back with that.
Okay.
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
We'll be right back. But first, are you a small business owner looking for solutions? TMI and Partners is a business solution company offering operational, branding, and financial solution. For only $9.99 a month, your company will be assigned a personal business advisor. Well, that's right, only $9.99 per month, no contract, and you're on your way. Call TMI at 347-234-5304. That's 347-234-5304. Or visit their website at tmium.com. Tomorrow, the world will know your business. Is that it, guys? Hello? Did I do good?
Hi, this is attorney Stephen G. James. We've been practicing law at this law firm for over 30 years. I'm a former assistant prosecutor in Kings County and currently a defense attorney to serve you better. We work harder to serve you better. So just call us for the lawyers you can trust. 646-905-9000. 646-905-7001. We're located on Sutphin Boulevard, right near Hillside here in Jamaica, Queens, New York, for over 30 years serving the community. The law firm of Stephen G. James. Thank you.
All right, we're back. Glenn,
Yes, we're back with Mr. Drew Kerr, and we're loving the conversation. I think you said The Door. I sent you Panache.
Right.
So
Right.
that's another.
And Beijing dumplings.
And Beijing dumpling.
Who I spoke
and-
with already.
Oh, you did.
Yep.
And Nutripan, which is going to be. I haven't gotten back to you on that, but this is such a great project. You know, the interesting thing is one of the things that we've been looking at is that we wanted to begin to feature some of the restaurants in Queens. And when I spoke with you on the phone, I was like, oh, wow. So you're already establishing the connection in terms of the restaurants. And so I think one of the things that we're going to look to do is we're going to follow up with some of those restaurants and actually have them on and talk about the kinds of cuisine that they have available.
I think they would enjoy that, especially because, like I said, it's such a cross section that I'm so fortunate to meet these chefs and be allowed into their kitchens and for them to open up and share these items and stories. You know, I'm sure they would enjoy that. I think that they're asked so much about their food, but then to be asked about these things that are even more personal is a whole other level. Most people don't ask them about. Go down that road.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to. We probably might start that for September sometime. You know, that part of the show. We like do something like maybe once a month.
Well, as I like to say, one of the benefits of this project is I have the cell phone numbers of 50 more chefs in my phone. So,
Well, that's great, so I don't have to go hunting around. I can just come straight to you. And it'll be very interesting if you might be able to head that up once a month for us, you know, if
yeah,
you
I'd be
have
happy
the
to
time.
do introductions. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That sounds great. So what's next on your project?
So, well, first of all, you'll have to tell me about the door for sure. So in the fall, the website, the gallery, as I described, we want to have an opening event. There's a few venues that we're actually looking at. And we want to have a fundraiser. And that to me puts the bow on the whole thing, is raising money. And that's where Queens Together comes in, because they are so tied in with many, many communities and feeding the food insecure. And I think that, I think there's about 40, 50 restaurants that are part of, and kitchens that are part of Queens Together. As a matter of fact, I mean, they're just an important organization in this borough. Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure that they can be the beneficiary of fundraising. So it's something that I actually want to speak about with the chefs, sort of, hey, what can we do that would be fun? You know, maybe, an auction off, a dinner, somebody making dinner at your home, or coming to the kitchen and you giving them a lesson. You know, I like to say some of the best prizes are the things that money can't buy.
True.
So,
Yes.
so
Something personal, something
Right.
personal that they can have.
So I would like to reach out. You know, I'm going to ask. I'm not going to expect everyone to do that because some of these people are incredibly busy. But I think that I will have some success in doing that and opening it obviously to the public. But I think that would be a great fundraising element to do, and that whole thing will take us to the end of the year. So it's a big.
Well, it seems like you got your job cut out for you.
I do have my job. It's a lot of work, but I have to say that when I take the subway, when I leave by bus or subway from wherever the restaurant is, and I listen to the audio and I look at the pictures, you can't help but smile. And when I post them on my website or Instagram, it's such a great feeling, and that you're telling stories that people haven't heard, and you can get that spirit across, because it's been so hard during the pandemic for everybody. So why don't we have this as a tribute and honor them and be thankful that they're here to help their communities, because chefs are very tied into their communities. They listen to them, they work with them, they are part of their communities. And so this to me is it's a very Queens, it's a very New York project.
Right. Now, tell me, because we're just about running out of time. How can people reach you? and tell the audience.
Sure. And if any restaurants, we've got room for about 8 or 9 more.
Oh, please,
more.
you have to go to the door.
The door.
I mean, they have the best Caribbean
Okay.
food there is.
Great. Go to the website, which is queenschefproject.com. My email's on there a couple of places, which is drew@queenschefproject.com. I answer people all the time. I text folks. I explain things. And then we're going to start a mailing list too. So I'm here and open for everybody. This is really for everybody.
Okay, that sounds good.
I was thinking of a venue, and I'm thinking maybe JCal might have been. Have you been to JCal?
So there are so many restaurants in Queens.
No, JCal is actually a musical.
Oh, okay.
They actually do art and arts projects, and they're Jamaica cultural arts.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they have a great space and a theater in the back. So, and they're right here in Jamaica.
That would be great too.
They actually have 2 locations. They have JPAC, which is an old church that they.
That's the one I've heard of.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're related. So JCal and JPAC
Didn't know what JCal was. Okay.
Are both the same organization, just 2 different locations that they feature.
That would be great. I mean, I think, like I said, to have a nice venue where the chefs can show up and we can show our artwork and invite the press and invite friends of the chefs and folks from Queens Economic and Queens Together, and celebrate this great thing that we've done.
Yeah, and it's such a great project because when you think about all the cultures in Queens, and then to have the chefs be a demonstration of that culture, and then have them have their own personal thing that had them in chef, being a chef or.
I would say, Glenn, that when this event takes place, everybody's going to be probably well fed.
But with that, please don't forget to invite us. All right, we would love to cover the event and love to eat. As a matter of fact,
Who wouldn't?
Glenn, tell everybody how they can reach you and what's going on right now in Jamaica, Queens.
Yes, you can always reach me at Jamaica Sutphen Boulevard Business Improvement District at 718-291. 2110. And what's going on? We've got the Jamaica Dance Festival that's going on at Kings Park for the next 3 weeks. Last week was the first week. Starts at 7 o'clock. Well, check Greg Mays at A Better Jamaica for the exact information. Each week they're featuring different kinds of dance artists and different dance techniques that are being featured. Anything from ballet to African dance to Brazilian to Ethiopian. I mean, it's just an amazing array of dancers, and it's outdoor event. So you bring your lawn chair, and you get to be out in the public. Bring your mask. We're still under the mask recommendation, but that's going on as well. And
don't forget your Harvest Festival is coming
Well,
up. We have to keep talking about it.
the Harvest Festival is coming up on September 18th, and I'm looking to have some jazz in front of the Supreme Court. So I haven't worked out all the details, but I do a little summertime jazz at lunchtime, and I'm hoping to be able to do that for July and August.
Great.
So those are the pieces that we'll be doing on Sutphen Boulevard, and we're looking forward to having you come on site. So I'll have to stop in when you're doing your work with the 2 restaurants.
So, Drew, just before we go off, tell the audience again how they can reach you and so forth.
Sure. So anybody can go to the website, which is at queenschefproject.com, or they can email me at drew@queenschefproject.com. queenschefproject.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Drew, for being our guest on our World Hour of Power show. I really look forward to hearing more stories in the near future about your project and so forth. You've been listening to WGJSradio.com on our World Hour of Power show. Thank you all and catch you on next week.